Welcome to Celebrity Reports, the place where we dive deep into the fascinating world of celebrities and uncover the stories behind the headlines. After his death, they opened Roy Clark's garage, and what they found shocked the world. Roy Clark, the legendary country musician, guitarist, and longtime host of Hee Haw, passed away in 2018 at the age of 85. His legacy in music and entertainment was already monumental, but what lay hidden in his own private space revealed even more about the man who had brought joy to so many. Roy Clark was known to millions for his infectious smile, his dazzling guitar skills, and his ability to connect with audiences. He wasn't just a performer, he was a showman who could make anyone feel like a friend. For decades, he entertained on television and toured across the country, winning awards and earning the respect of his peers. But despite his fame, Roy always kept parts of his life deeply private. Few people outside his family and closest friends ever had a true sense of the treasures he kept tucked away at home. When the time came to go through his belongings, his garage in Tulsa became the focus. At first glance, one might expect to find the usual tools, spare parts, or maybe a classic car or two. What people discovered instead was a time capsule of Roy's life, filled with items that spoke volumes about his character, his passions, and his generosity. Among the most surprising discoveries was his extraordinary collection of guitars. While it was well known that Roy was a master guitarist, able to shift effortlessly between country, jazz, blues, and classical styles, few realized just how many instruments he had gathered over the years. The garage housed dozens of guitars, some vintage models dating back to the 1940s and others custom-made just for him. Many were still in immaculate condition, each with a story attached. Some had been given to him by fellow musicians, while others were ones he had bought during tours around the world. Alongside the guitars were boxes filled with handwritten notes, fan letters, and scrapbooks. Roy had saved countless messages from people who wrote to tell him how much his music and television presence had meant to them. He never spoke much about these letters publicly, but the fact that he had preserved them showed how deeply he valued the connection he had with fans. For many, it was a reminder that the man who entertained millions also had a quiet, sentimental side that cared about individual voices. There were also mementos from his Hee Haw days, including stage props, costumes, and behind-the-scenes photographs that had never been released to the public. These items revealed the playful atmosphere of the show and the strong friendships he built with his co-stars. For fans who grew up watching him every weekend, these discoveries were like opening a window into a cherished era of television history. Perhaps the most touching find was a series of journals Roy had kept over the years. In them, he reflected on his career, his family, and his hopes for the future of music. He wrote about his gratitude for the opportunities he had been given and his desire to see younger generations continue to explore and innovate with instruments. Reading through his words, it became clear that Roy never took his success for granted. He saw himself not as a celebrity above others, but as a lucky man who had been given the chance to share what he loved. There were also stories of his generosity hidden in that garage. Receipts, letters, and thank-you notes hinted at how often he gave quietly to charities, neighbors, and even strangers in need. While the public knew Roy Clark as a lively entertainer, those closest to him revealed that he was just as remarkable offstage, always willing to lend a helping hand without expecting recognition. The shock of opening Roy Clark's garage was not in finding secrets that would tarnish his legacy, but in uncovering treasures that deepened it. The world learned that beyond his fame, Roy had lived with humility, kindness, and a deep love for people and music. His garage was less a storage space and more a museum of a life well lived, filled with reminders of his remarkable journey. After his passing, fans already knew Roy Clark was a legend, but the discoveries in his garage proved he was also a man of heart, humor, and humanity. In the end, what they found didn't just shock the world, it reminded us all why we loved him in the first place.